He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
Well, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and yes, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that us Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are located, because remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, even if you're having a bad day. A lot, I've been going through this a lot lately, to where when I go ahead and have a bad day, I get angry, I get upset, and I don't know what to do. I'm pulling my hair out. But sometimes we have to remember that we have a Heavenly Father that made this day special. He made this day great, no matter what we're going through. Yeah, Isaac, but I'm having a bad day. Well, all of us do, sometime here, there, and everywhere. But we have to make sure that we put our faith and trust in Christ and know that whatever's going on, he will make it good for us, because he says it in his word. Good things happen to those who love him. So just remember that. Just remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that today is a good day because it's the day of the Lord. And just be in good health. So hey, that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what life is about serving the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's why I tell everyone at the end of the programs, if you want to find Jesus your Lord and Savior, reach out to me. I will tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home, because this whole life would not be worth nothing if we did not have Christ. So again, hope you're having a good one. So as we start off our journey today, ladies and gentlemen, last Tuesday night was the State of the Union. And look, I make a point to watch the State of the Union. For the past 2 years, this is Biden's second one, by the way. Remember, he didn't do one in the first year. I believe he gave a handwritten State of the Union, and later in the year, he talked to Congress. Some people was using that as a State of the Union, but it really wasn't. He was trying to get something done. Last year, he did the State of the Union. If you remember, I did a video, and it's on Rumble still, to where I talked about Nancy Pelosi clapping like a trained seal, and I still got that clip. I never put that on a TikTok or anything. That was before I had a TikTok and all. But we, that's the State of the Union. At least he said some things that were going on. But I make a point to watch the State of the Union. Before even this program, I will watch the State of the Union. And ladies and gentlemen, by far, this was the worst State of the Union by a sitting president of the United States. Why am I saying this? Because you had a president, and I've never ever seen this before. You had a president trying to convince the American people that he's doing so much good, and campaigning and lying and attacking, lying throughout the whole thing, and then attacking the opposite party, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Biden made some claims last night that I was just, boom. I was just like, wow, how can you make that claim? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we had some news organizations that went ahead and looked at it and summarized it, and I thought that would be the best way for me to present this, because yesterday I didn't remember everything that went on. But, ladies and gentlemen, Biden just, look, the whole 70 minutes that he spoke, I think it was 72 minutes, it was nothing but lies, lies and slanders of the GOP party. That's all he did. All he did was lie. And all he did was slander the Republican Party, to one point where Marjorie Taylor Greene, in Marjorie Taylor Greene's fashion, screamed out "liar." Ladies and gentlemen, he got booed multiple times. He even made a statement about McDonald's and capping off, and he exposed them, and the Republican Party was just like, you're not, it's not right. But we're gonna go ahead and look at a few things, and the article that I'm pulling from is from the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire titled this "Grading Biden's State of the Union." And I'm going to talk about the topics that they pulled out. We also have one from Fox I want to dive into, because Fox has an article where it says the five most impacted things that Biden said, or things that happened at the union. So let's go ahead and start. The president claimed at the State of the Union on Tuesday night that he created 12 million or more, 12 million jobs, more than any other president in history 2 years into his terms. So, ladies and gentlemen, Biden has been making this claim for a while now because of the job numbers. Last month, he had a great job number come out, and he's gloating around saying how our economy is going strong and how he created 12 million jobs, more than any other president within his 2 years. But political fact called that baloney. Many of these jobs were the one that came back from before the pandemic, not brand new jobs. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me break this down. For example, the president is saying, I created 12 million jobs. And in a sense, you could say he did. But the reason he did it was because before COVID, you had all these jobs, then COVID hit, and the people that let go their employees because they could not afford to keep the employees, fired them or sent them to workman comp. So the job employment rate or the jobless claims, whatever, went through the roof, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you remember the Democrats are crying and saying how Trump was evil and Trump did not go ahead and he wasn't creating jobs? That's because of the pandemic. It wasn't because Donald Trump ran the economy bad. A lot of people think that, Trump's last year was terrible. It was because of the pandemic. It's funny how Democrats want to blame COVID on everything except the good job numbers right now, or the jobless claims that Trump was saying, hey, this is because of the pandemic. Now all these jobs are coming back because now we're past COVID-19. We're past the pandemic. People are starting to hire again, and them jobs are coming back. Now Biden is trying to pick himself up and say, look, I created 12 million jobs. Mr. President, you didn't create 12 million jobs. Them jobs are coming back from the pandemic era. So that is one thing that President Biden said that was a lie. And like I said, if you look at the numbers, well, no, it's not a lie, Isaac. He had great job numbers last month. Yes, he did, because of the pandemic. And before you left to say, you're trying to cause that on the pandemic, y'all do it all the time. The food crisis, that's because of the pandemic. The oil shortages, that's because of the pandemic, or Russia and Ukraine. So y'all using the same thing as us, but we have facts on our side. Also, Biden took a jab at energy. Now, if you're in Louisiana, which majority of my audience is, this should concern you. Biden, first off, is anti-energy. He does not like big oil. He doesn't. He does not like talking about big oil. He does not like producing big oil, and his record shows that for himself. Regarding energy, Biden didn't spend too much time on this, which he did. And perhaps for good reason. His remarks drew audience laughs from the GOP when he blasted oil companies for record profits. He claimed that the oil companies invest too little of that profit to increase domestic production and keep gas prices down. There's an issue. When you go ahead and they ask for new permits and you don't give it to them, yes, they keep producing oil, but they have to go up because they don't have too many places to drill. Instead, they use their record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding their CEOs and shareholders. Yet, corporations ought to do the right thing. Then Biden said that his executives told him point blank that they didn't invest due to his policies meant to abolish fossil fuels. Ladies and gentlemen, they did not invest in America because, yes, Biden has he promised, remember when he was running in 2019, he was going to shut down fossil fuels. He was going after the industry for and try to stop that because of the progressives. He wanted the progressive votes. And look, it happened in Louisiana. Attorney General Jeff Landry, who's running for governor, fought Joe Biden and won in court to get drilling back in the Gulf of Mexico. He pulled them permits. That's why big oil companies are not investing in the United States, because Biden is stopping them from investing in the United States. But listen to this. Now, this topped it all. This is one of the boos that I was talking to you about. He reassured them by saying, we are going to need oil for at least another decade. That line drew an erroneous response, perhaps because no company would invest giving that timeline, but also because America will need fossil fuels for a decade to come. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what the president said. The president said we're going to need oil for at least another decade. So I'm going to invest for a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm an investor in an oil company, I'm not going to invest in the United States because you're only telling me I'm going to make a profit for about 10 years. It's not about making a profit for 10 years. It's about making profits for a long period of time. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to what the president said. So what, and I think he went off script with this. I could just see the White House saying, oh Lord, here he goes. Saying this for about 10 years. He said we're gonna need at least fossil fuels for 10 years. What is Biden's plan? What is Biden's plan going into his third year? Replacing fossil fuels with more EVs, more renewable energies. That is his plan. And he said this in his State of Union as well. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know, he got boos from both sides. He got boos because they said we're only going to need it for 10 years. And you had boos on the other side because Joe Biden made a quote, we're going to need oil and gas for a while. And the Democrats booed. Poor guy. He got boos on both sides of it. See, and look, ladies and gentlemen, this shows right here. This was a tweet from Caleb Hall. That's when he said Joe Biden made the quote, we're going to need oil and gas for a while. Democrats booed him. So this is showing that the Democrats don't like fossil fuels. The Democrats don't like gas companies. They don't like none of that stuff. Because first off, it's going against their agenda. But ladies and gentlemen, they can control people if they don't have oil and gas. A lot of people don't realize that the Democrat Party isn't doing this to save the planet. They're trying to control the people they're supposed to protect and serve. That's why the Democrat Party does not like don't like fossil fuels. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you go ahead and put everybody on EVs, this is just a point. If you put everybody on EVs and energy, well, electric vehicles and electric stoves and everything. If you unplug the grid, guess what? They can't cook, they can't eat, they can't drive, nothing. But see, if you have fossil fuels and you have gasoline to fuel, you know, your stove, your house, your vehicle, everything, you can get around and you can still survive a little bit on gas, but not electric. That's why the Democrats Party is pushing for electric vehicles and electric stoves and everything electric, because they can control you, the American citizen. All right, so let's go on to the next topic that Biden talked about. He talked about the border a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this was a bizarre point in his speech because he's trying to say he wants to fix the border. This is after he has destroyed the border because he replaced Trump's policies. And now it got worse, so now he wants to implement some of Trump's policies back. And he's trying to say his own idea. He did that on the night a few times watching. He did this. There was a couple of things, like he said he wanted to rebuild and modernize the army and the military. Well, Trump did that. Oh, but now it's getting to a point where the results are going to start showing, and Biden wants to take credit for it. There was a few things that he said that Trump tried to implement. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the reason he tried to implement and make himself look good, because in 2024, he's probably going to run for president. Will he win? Well, only 31% of the people want him, and that's only in the Democrat side. Oh, I think 100% of Republicans don't want him, unless you're Mitt Romney and Susan Collins. All right, like I said, back to the border, though. Biden called upon Congress to come together on the border in truly bipartisan fashion. As this author has previously covered, this should have been taken to mean amnesty for some or all illegal immigrants. The president also claimed that the Border Patrol has seized 20,000 pounds of fentanyl over the past year at the border. What he left out, according to the Washington Post, and that which is not a conservative newspaper, is that the United States sees only 5 to 10% of the number of drugs smuggled into the country. See, ladies and gentlemen, well, we caught 20,000 pounds of fentanyl and drugs. That's only 5 to 10% of what came in. That should give you an idea of the incredible amount of drugs flowing through the southern border. He also neglected to mention that his policies, chiefly caught and release, are fueling cartels in Mexico. Their job is very easy to traffic humans. They just have to train their clients, Poor individuals selling out hundreds, if not thousands, on what to say once they get over the border. Then those illegal aliens are released into the United States internally. So, ladies and gentlemen, Biden is not, look, you know who's going to stop fentanyl? You know who's going to stop illegal immigration? Build a wall. Build a doggone wall. That's what's going to stop fentanyl. That's what's going to stop things happening in this illegal immigration. Build a doggone wall. That's what's going to stop the illegal immigration and things that are happening in this nation. That's what's going to stop. Foreign policy. He did not mention China too much. All he mentioned was China, that he blew down their balloon. Ladies and gentlemen, and Biden decided to talk about China fresh off the Chinese Communist Party sending a spy balloon that traveled the entire United States continental states. The commander-in-chief claimed that China was no longer increasing in power and that America was no longer following in the world. Of course, the balloon incident was entirely embarrassing for the United States. China has eaten our lunch, particularly as it has ramped up its domestic fossil fuel production, while America has worked to make us dependent on foreign oil and gas. That's his problem. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, he has talked a lot about. Let me say it like this, because there's a lot more things we can cover. But ladies and gentlemen, President Biden's speech, as I said, was full of lies. All of it was lies, ladies and gentlemen. Look, he did have some legislation success this year. Because, listen to here, because of Rhino Republicans. The infrastructure bill, the CHIPS bill, and all this stuff. He did have some accomplishments thanks to Rhino Republicans. But ladies and gentlemen, this president right here, all this was a campaign speech. It did not talk about the State of the Union. It talked more about his promises of what he was going to do, and he wanted to finish the job. I believe that's going to be his slogan for 2024. Let's finish the job. But ladies and gentlemen, he can't finish. This man lies. This man lies so much. I think he thinks he's telling the truth up there. Remember, these are speechwriters that are telling him what to do. And ladies and gentlemen, this is an embarrassment to our country. The guy that graded, and I was going to go into another article, but I think that'll be enough for today. The writer of the article gave him a D+. I say this was a flat out F. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the president didn't try to unify, because we didn't even dive into that. For him attacking the GOP and him talking about how they wanted that, which I'm going to mention that right here, because there was one point in the speech where he goes ahead and says that the Republicans want to cut Medicaid and Social Security, and there was boos, and you had the Republicans saying you lie. You had Kevin McCarthy in the back saying lies, not true. Never has the Republican Party said they want to cut spending on Medicaid and Social Security. None whatsoever. They say that is off the table. That is not going to be addressed. But the Democrat Party always goes back to that, and that's why I call this a campaign speech. And this is why I said this speech was full of lies. And the speech was full of attacks on the Republican Party, which means that this was not a State of the Union. This was a free political speech, and he knew most of Americans would watch it. And because of that, he took advantage of it. And ladies and gentlemen, this was not the State of the Union. He did not go ahead and try to spark unity. Remember when Trump's last one, you got to make unity. Please get the United States, get the people united. They didn't call for unity on this one. This speech caused division, and it was diverse. It was an F. My grade is an F, and this is wrong right here. Full of lies. Why? And look, I still ask that question. I'm glad some of the Republicans stood up and said lied and called him out. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this was by far the worst State of the Union in my lifetime that I remember, and it is sad that we have a president that rather go up and lie to the American people on national television instead of taking the blame, which we're going to talk about that later on. With that being said, we'll be right back after this short break. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, We haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need. If you're in Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. In all that, there was a bright spot in Tuesday. It was Sarah Sanders. Now, you might be wondering who Sarah Sanders. She is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was Donald Trump's, I think his first press secretary. I'm not 100% sure, but she was a press secretary before Kayleigh McEntyre. I think that's her name, not Kayleigh McEntyre. Oh, man, I'm messing up names. But anyway, McEnany, something like that, before she came on. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders became the governor of Arkansas, changed Arkansas around in the last couple of weeks. She's been in that position. And she gave the GOP response last night, and that was by far, in my opinion, one of the greatest GOP response. Now, I know all my friends on the left is going to say, well, Isaac, of course, whatever Biden does is evil and it's lying, but whatever Sarah Huckabee Sanders or what the GOP says, you're going to take into account. No, I'm serious. She looked firm. She looked like she knew what she was talking about. She was ready. She didn't have an audience, and she did it in her governor's mansion. But she did good. And ladies and gentlemen, this just shows the future of the GOP. Biden is old. You have Nancy Pelosi's old. You got a couple of young ones. Hakeem Jeffries, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar. But the thing of it is, these are all progressives, and they're trying to move away from the originality of the Constitution and our country. On the other side, though, you have Republicans. Marco Rubio. I disagree with Marco Rubio on some things. You have Sarah Sanders. You have Ron DeSantis. You have all these. You have a lot of young people coming up in the GOP, and I think our future is bright. It depends on the country, though, because if the country goes ahead and is influenced by evil, which is progressivism and communistic, socialistic ideas, it's going to sway the wrong way. It's going to sway to the right, to the left, and because it's swayed to the left, it's going to hurt our nation. And the people are not going to vote for these great minds that are coming up. They're going to vote for liberalism, and it's going to hurt our nation even more. So we're gonna have to see how that happens. But Sarah Sanders' response last night was good. There is some highlights. I think I got it. Yeah, she said our country doubled down on crazy. That was funny. She talked about her thyroid cancer and her mom, and a lot of issues were covered. Unfortunately, we don't have time to really dive into that right now. But I got to give props to Sarah Sanders, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, for her great response. She did a good job. All right, guys. So the Grammys were last Sunday, and listen, I didn't watch it. I never watched the Grammys. It's just, look, I grew up in a home where we believe in holiness, and we always looked at the Grammys as something that was not right. And look, hey, props to you if you like it. I'm not gonna criticize you for that. But ladies and gentlemen, for a while now, Hollywood has been pushing the envelope more and more. I guess you could say it started with Madonna and with Britney Spears and everything, where they were showing off a little bit more body than they should. You have, especially the music industry. And look, I am a Christian, but I don't justify everything in the contemporary Christian world. I don't justify everything in the gospel music industry, because there was a gospel group at the Grammys this year. It was Maverick City music. And look, as a worship, I play worship on Wednesday nights. We have sung Maverick City worship music. We have done Bethel. We have done all that stuff, and I might address that later on about my music choices and all. But they were there. Now their lead singer sung a secular song, and I disagree with that. Now, I didn't make a video on this on Brothers Just Searching or whatnot, but I'm really starting to think of diving into those subjects because we don't really dive into that too much now on Brothers Just Searching. We do more Bible study, but I might have to, if you would like that, if your Brothers Just Searching, email me, tell me. I would love to get your opinion on it. But anyway, Maverick City Music was there. They sung a secular song there, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Grammys, because remember, I just talked about if our young people get influenced the wrong way, this country's going to be bad. And the music industry has been pushing more and more the envelope towards presenting Satanism. We had Lil Nas X have a music video where he's descending into hell and he beats Satan, so we're getting more into the occult realm of music. Now, why am I saying this? Well, because the Grammys, the song was named Unholy. So the Grammys are already unholy, but and it was a tribute to Satan. So there was Sam Smith, who he identifies as a transgender. You had the other performer that was there. Let me check her name. I'm trying to find. I know it's Sam Smith, and the lady that sung with him identifies as a transgender woman or non-binary. Both these are biological males, by the way, which this does not change. You know, you can call them women. No, these are two biological males, and that's what they're gonna be called as him or he. You know, whatever. But Sam Smith wrote a song or performed a song called Unholy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to quote to you the lyrics of that song because it's, well, I'm not going to do that for the sake of the audience. I don't know if we have some young listeners, but let me say it like this. The lyrics, I read it earlier, and the lyrics is basically sex relationships with a man and a woman. And ladies and gentlemen, this song is provocative. It is sick, but this is pop music. But anyway, so viewers of the 65th Annual Grammy Awards slammed a performance on Sunday by Sam Smith and Kim Partridge, remember, two biological men as demonic over its satanic theme. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what happened was they introduced a song, Madonna. I think it was Madonna. They introduced a song, and she was talking about these rebels that go out their way and stretch the bounds of music. And she glorified these two singers because they were awarded the best duo for this song, and they were talking about how they broke down walls to get there, and they went against the norm and everything like this. But anyway, so they go ahead and they start up this song, and ladies and gentlemen, there's fire, there's sexual acts on the two performers, BDMS theme thing, and ladies and gentlemen, it was just, as a Christian, I think the best word would be demonic or satanistic. It was horrible, ladies and gentlemen. It was something that young kids should not see. Now, Sam Smith put out a tweet earlier that day saying he was ready for the performance, and CBS, the people that put on this event, went ahead and they since deleted the tweet, but they went ahead and said, yes, it is time to worship a satanic theme song. And CBS is saying it's time to worship. You might want to check that out. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is this political. Well, if you put in Sam Smith and Kim Petras, whatever his name is, and on the transgender side, you can understand they try to make this as a big event to where people of alternate lifestyles were breaking barriers and stuff. And I can go ahead and talk all about that. But what I'm going to talk about is the hypocrisy of the left right here, because ladies and gentlemen, conservatives and moral-minded people are slamming this event like yours truly. This was provocative. This was a sexual demonic ritual. I look, and the song fits it perfectly. Unholy. There is a line on the song that says, because of their love and because of what they're thinking of doing, it makes it unholy. That's why the song is named that. And because like one at the body shop doing something unholy, and to be honest with you, I think it fit the Grammys. But But this is why I'm upset about this. You have the left for years tell us Christians, don't show your faith. Don't pressure people into serving God. Don't go ahead and spew your religious beliefs with everyone that you see. Keep it in the four walls of the church. Keep your religious feelings or your religious beliefs to yourself. Because you see, you can't offend other people by pushing your beliefs onto others. The left has said this for years. And look, I know the NFL with not Hopkins, the guy that fell on the field. I can't think of his name at the moment. Damar Hamlet, when he fell on the field, people were praying. ESPN prayed. That was the first time sports worlds accepted prayers in years. But if you go back to Tim Tebow, remember Tim Tebow being on the sideline and all he was doing was praying, Lord, protect us on the field. Lord, help us out. Lord, protect everyone on the field. And he got criticized because he was kneeling and people, the left, went crazy and saying, oh my goodness, he's pushing his faith on people. He should stop. He should pray in the locker room. He should pray off the field. He should pray before he comes to the field. They made all kind of excuses for Tim Tebow. And the left still tells us that today. Leave your faith at home. Don't push your faith. Don't push your faith on the television. Don't put your faith on anything like this. Just leave it at home. Out of their same mouths, they're praising two biological males for performing a song called Unholy in a hellenistic theme. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stretch the bounds right here. Majority of people in Hollywood and in the music industry are Satanists. Oh, Isaac, that's a bold claim. You have no proof of that. Well, I think the proof is in the pudding. With the last Grammy Awards, you had Madonna, you had Sam Smith, you had Kim Petra, you had all these people at the Grammys glorifying this event. And look, I hate to say this. Now, I don't know, because Kirk Franklin did a Facebook Live. Shout out to shout out to Ruslan. Never met Ruslan. If you're listening, we'll love to meet you. Give me a text. But Ruslan did a video where he saw Kirk Franklin going live, and Kirk Franklin was addressing this. I didn't see it, so I'm not going to comment on it. But ladies and gentlemen, you had a Christian band there listening to Unholy. Now, these are the same people that, like I said, tons and tons of churches around the world are singing their music, praising the God, but they're going to sit down and listen to a song called Unholy. That sounds unholy to me. But going back to that, ladies and gentlemen, because look, as I said, majority of Hollywood and majority of the music industry, all these people are Satanists. If they don't worship Satan outright, they worship Satan by proclaiming themselves. And I got this point from Matt Walsh. Give credit to where credit's due, because Matt Walsh brought this out, and I didn't think about it like that until he brought it out. And look, I'm not trying to dispute another man's opinion, but I just think it makes sense. And I'm going to elaborate on it, because if you read Genesis chapter 1, why did the serpent deceive Eve? Because he put everything on the human nature. He puts everything on themselves. Like they would have been given knowledge of given knowledge of good and evil. They would have been like gods, and that's what fueled Eve to eat the apple. And that's why I believe Adam ate it, because nothing happens to Eve, and I could be the same way. Oh boy, I'm gonna do it. But the devil's whole theme is to focus people on themselves and try to tell people you are the center of attention. You are the pedestal. You. And it's promoting self. And ladies and gentlemen, Satan likes that. And look, their worship. Look, if you look at these videos, the people were bowing down to this artist. I'm not even gonna call them artists, because the song is ridiculous. But this person was like trying to put promotion on himself. And if you heard their award speech, to where they were given when they were given the awards, it was, oh, we broke down barriers, we did this, we did it, and it was focused on themselves. So yes, they were paying a tribute to Satan, Because ladies and gentlemen, go check out Good Fight Ministries, Pastor Joe Schumer. He does a great job exposing a lot of this stuff. Good Fight Ministries, go check them out. And ladies and gentlemen, majority of these people worship Satan, or they ask Satan to give them abilities because they want to be big and famous. And ladies and gentlemen, they're yielding themselves. Now, the what's good about this is showing that America is getting away from this as well, hopefully. Because according to the Daily Wires, the Grammys continue awards show ratings slumped. It went down, ladies and gentlemen. It went down. Because look, I think people are getting tired of that. Lil Nas X, his video, yeah, it ramped up a lot of people in his devil's shoe and everything like that. But people were very upset about this. They were upset. And as a Christian, I am upset about it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, they're pushing their religion. They're pushing their religion of themselves. They're pushing the religion of Satan. But they're telling us Christians, hey, you need to stay home and not share your faith. But it's okay for us to go on national television and perform a satanic ritual in a song to influence your kids to worship Satan. Ladies and gentlemen, and on my last point, if they have the right to go on national television and promote this garbage, we have the right to go on national television, or to have podcasts, or have YouTube channels, or have Rumble channel, whatever it is. We have the right to do it, and we have the right to voice our opinion. Oh, you can't do that because of religion. You know, religion is separation of church and state, and you shouldn't mix religion and politics together. You should, but you have these artists. Because look, hey, going back to the political side, they push same-sex agenda or LGBTQ agenda, trans agenda, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. They were pushing that along with this song of a satanic ritual. But we cannot go ahead and promote our morals and our values and our opinions with our faith, because hey, you got to leave that at home. And I look at that as hypocrisy. With that being said, we'll be right back after this short break.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a podcast on Spotify. I would love it if you went over and subscribed to my podcast. It's a talk show. It covers a wide variety of topics. I cover success, motivation, funny stories, topical events, things going on in the world. And I would love it if you went over and subscribed to my podcast. Thank you so much, Isaac. God bless. Enjoy your life.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment. Haven't played that song in a while. My dad, Lanny Hayes, his song Headed for Heaven. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The world's worshiping Satan and they're going to hell. But guess what? I'm headed for heaven. Amen. I haven't done this in a while, and I'm going to go ahead and give props to my dad, Lanny Hayes. Go check out his podcast, Sermons from the Swamp. He is a pastor of a little local church here, but he also does music. Go check out his YouTube page, the Coda Homes Fellowship Church, and they got his music on there. A lot of songs that you hear here. Let's talk about Phil Kennedy. Phil Kennedy wrote the song "Not One Hoof" that we used for the second segment. Go check out his album on Spotify, "The Open Door." That is one of the a great CD right there. We have advertised it here, and also go check out my uncle Eric Hayes on his album "He's Mine." That's the opening of the songs. The Open Door, I think, is Knocking on Your Door, I think the song is. Go check them out. Great artists, great people. Know them all personally. Give a plug up to them. Go check them out. So what we're gonna do different on this segment? I've been having a lot of subjects I've been wanting to talk about, but unfortunately they're not that big into the world of news, or they didn't. I couldn't fill a whole segment with them, and my process is. I try to fit everything in, and when we have big stories. So what I'm going to do in this segment is I'm going to go ahead and call this Cajun news. Dun, 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 but I'm going to go ahead and break down some stories that, like I said, couldn't fill a whole segment, but I think it's important for us to mention. So let's first talk about the spy balloon incident. As we know, there was a spy balloon from China that traveled from Montana, went across Kansas, went across other states where some of our big military places are. Military bases are, and they finally shot it down after 8 days of knowing it was in the country. They detected it, and they shot it down on the coast of South Carolina. At this time, the president has ordered the Navy to take control. They're picking up all the pieces and they're sending it to the FBI. China has said, please don't look at that. Send it back to us. That right there should tell you, hey, this wasn't a surveillance balloon as China was saying, but anyway, but the FBI is looking at it now. We don't know. Will Joe Biden go ahead and say, hey, they're right. We should, our sovereignty was at risk. Our dignity as a country was threatened. But you can have your balloon back. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope not. But anyway, but going around this balloon thing, because this is bad heat for President Biden right now. And ever since that has happened, Biden has been really in trouble. Okay, there we go. All right, but Biden has barely been in trouble. Biden has been giving. This is not good. It's not a good look for Biden. Karine Jean-Pierre has been saying, "Oh, this is they're making up lies." There's so many lies I can't recollect right now. Anyway, but going back to that, so since this has happened, the Pentagon has come out and said, "Oh, we had 3 of these balloons when Trump was president." Really? Now has been said that there's been at least 10 balloons that has entered into the airspace. That is from Fox News, by the way. And top generals say Trump's air side balloons flew over the United States undetected. This is from Politico. Wait, what? These balloons flew in undetected? And this is why they say President Trump didn't know about this. Why? Because this comes from the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire says Chinese spy balloon flew over United States under Trump, but were only discovered after Trump left office, according to some reports. Oh, how convenient. What you mean, Isaac? How convenient? What you mean by that? Well, if you think about it, President Biden gets heat because he allowed a Chinese spy balloon to go through the country. And we don't know what they picked up. We still don't know that. They flew all over the country, over several states. And he says shoot it down, and the generals say no, we can't shoot it down, sir. And they wait until it's over the Atlantic, and they shoot it over the Atlantic, and now they're having trouble finding parts. It didn't look good for Biden for 8 days. So now his Pentagon comes out and says, well, they had other balloons come out there, and how convenient to say, well, Trump didn't know about it because they were only detected after Trump left office. See, ladies and gentlemen, this whole story, and I felt funny when I first heard about this because it was kind of convenient now that we have other balloons that were found or went over our great country. And nobody knew about it until after Trump took office, which means Biden was in office. Ladies and gentlemen, look, there could have been. But me personally, I don't believe there was balloons. Ladies and gentlemen, this whole story is to take heat off of Biden. That's all it is. This whole story is to take heat off Biden because Biden is getting heat because he allowed a spy balloon to come into our country. Now he needs to get the heat off of, and who the best person to blame for it? Trump! That's it. Trump allowed them to. And Trump's like, I didn't even know about this. And all his aides are like, we didn't know about this because it happened after y'all were out of office. Well, that ain't Trump's problem either. That's Biden's problem. Oh, but of course, it takes heat because Trump was in power. That means it's his fault as well. He allowed. So Biden's good. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how I'm feeling this whole story is going on right here. And it's sad to say because Biden is trying to shift the narrative to Trump. when he was the president that allowed. And now this whole goes to a whole nother issue too. If we can't detect balloons, how are we going to detect anything that's coming across our country? And ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of funny thing too. About I saw someone talk about this the other day. Our country has the technology to detect missiles coming to the United States. You know that the Iron Dome, we have sensors, but we couldn't detect balloons coming into our country. And the only reason you think about it, the only reason somebody knew about this because an innocent bystander looked up in the sky one day and said, I wonder what that is, took a picture, sent it to the newspaper, and guess what? It broke national news. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, there's a lot of things around this balloon that is not settling to me. Just my opinion, just my thoughts. All right, so over the weekend, last Tuesday, President Trump has done something stupid again, in my humble opinion. He has, again, attacked Ron DeSantis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the whole premise of the 2024 election should not be about attacking other Republicans. It should be about attacking Joe Biden. Oh, I say attacking because I don't want people on here, oh, he's inciting violence. No, I don't want to politically go after President Biden. That just should be, hey, Biden sucks at this, so we need this to happen to change it. But unfortunately, Donald Trump isn't looking to the 2024 mark. He is looking to the primary where Ron DeSantis could be a political foe to him. He has already said Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley shouldn't run because that's disloyal to him. Him attacking Nikki Haley and him attacking, I think he attacked Nikki Haley. I don't quote me on this. But him attacking Ron DeSantis for sure shows that that's his mark. He wants to take him out for the 2024 primaries of the Republican Party, which I don't think Trump should run. Y'all know my feelings on this. But anyway, but he attacks Ron DeSantis on Tuesday on True Social. He went ahead and attacked DeSantis, partied with a female high school student when he tough history at the Darlington School in Georgia. The former president also attacked DeSantis for voting against the 2018 immigration bill while he was in Congress and for supporting the arrest of Capitol rioters. Trump is still on this January 6th thing. That's old news. I understand it was terrible. We need to get down to the bottom of it, but Trump, leave it alone. But Trump is harping on old news. He's hoping that whole old news carries him to 2024 in a run against Biden, but I don't think that's going to happen. People are not looking to the past. They're looking to the future. But anyway, so what did Ron DeSantis say? And look, to be honest with you, this is a classic move by Ron DeSantis, and I think it was right. More Republicans need to do this to Trump. I think this is going to get under Trump's skin more. He's going to try to push the political attacks on these people, and he's going to crumble. That's probably what Ron DeSantis is thinking. Ron DeSantis went ahead and said at a press conference, I spend my time delivering results for the people of Florida and fighting against Joe Biden. That's how I spend my time. I don't spend my time trying to smear other Republicans. Boom! Mic drop. The most classiest thing Ron DeSantis could have said. And look, I'm pulling for Ron DeSantis. I hope Ron DeSantis does run. And as a Republican, if I'm still a Republican at that time, I'm probably going to vote for him in the primaries if he's still around. Ron DeSantis has also jumped over Trump in many polls. Republicans like Ron DeSantis. They look, no offense to Trump, but they don't want another 80-year-old man in office. They want a man that's young and fresh and that could go ahead and lead our country with a clear mind. Ron DeSantis saying that shows me he's way more better of a candidate than Trump. I like Trump. I like Trump's policies. But the thing of it is, ladies and gentlemen, Trump attacking Ron DeSantis like that, it will harm the Republican Party, not help it. But Ron DeSantis doing this, saying, hey, I ain't here to smear other Republicans, puts him in a good light in my part. And also, he's following the 11th commandment of Ronald Reagan, where Ronald Reagan said, do not attack another Republican. Excuse me, as I take a taste of homemade root beer. If you haven't had that, you need to get the recipe. It's good. All right. Biden don't like taking the blame, but loves to take credit. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you listen to the State of the Union, we talked about it in the first segment. Biden talked about everything he did good. And he went ahead and attacked the GOP. And everything the GOP did, that's why we're in trouble in our nation. But everything that he did is lifting up our nation. Biden don't like taking blame. Why do I say that? Well, according to the Daily Wire, Biden was asked about some classified documents, and no surprise, Biden says he deserves no blame over his handling of the classified documents. Ladies and gentlemen, the reporter asked, do you take any blame for mishandling the classified document? Biden said nope. Now, this is a weird thing, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the left, Trump had to take blame for the 300 documents that was at Mar-a-Lago. Mike Pence, without anybody saying anything, said, look, I take that on me. I don't know how they got there. I guess we took them and we didn't realize we had them. But I take the blame. I was the leader of that. I take the blame. Pence and Trump, to some sense of Trump said, look, I took them. Trump said they took them. I didn't want them. I took them back. Pence said, look, I don't know how they got there, but hey, they owed up to it a little bit. Biden said, no. Hey, I didn't do nothing wrong. When you had classified documents in possibly 5 locations. Think about this. We know 4 for sure, maybe 5. I say 5 because I'm hearing people say 5 now. You had classified documents and you don't take no blame for that? Oh, that was my assistant. That was this. That was that. Oh, Isaac, Isaac, that don't mean Biden don't take blame for anything. Oh, really? So let's go ahead and talk about something else. Biden, this is according to Fox News, Biden busted for claiming high inflation was already there when he took office. Dead wrong, and he knows it. This was from a piece from, like I said, Fox News, where the president was at a press conference, and he was talking about the numbers that we had new jobs for America. The inflation was down, and ladies and gentlemen, on this point, inflation is down, but that's because the not Federal Reserve, the interest rate went up. I'm going to say, like, I can't remember the entity, but the interest rate went up. Because the interest rate went up, it brought down inflation. And they're already talking about maybe raising the interest rate again to bring down the inflation some more, try to balance out the economy. But ladies and gentlemen, Biden is to blame for the high inflation because of his policies. But President Biden was criticized Friday for claiming that, now this was last Friday, criticized that he inherited high inflation when he entered office. Last year under his administration, inflation climbed to 9.1, a 40-year high. When he became president, inflation was only at 1.4%. Now, Biden spoke at the White House, and he was talking about the jobs numbers, and a journalist asked, do you take any blame for inflation, Mr. President? This is the president's response. I don't take any blame for inflation. No, the president replied. The reporter asks, why not? This is Biden's quote, because it was already there when I got here. Man, remember when the economy was like when I got here? Jobs were hemorrhaging. Inflation was rising. We weren't manufacturing a thing here. We were in real economical difficulty. That's why I don't. Thank you. Biden answered, then left the podium with the reporter continued to shout questions at him. Biden don't take any blame when the inflation was at 1.4. And also, we talked a little bit about this for the State of the Union. Wasn't there a pandemic that everybody left their jobs and people weren't spending money? That's why the economy started to get messed. The only thing that brought down Trump was the pandemic. I'm just gonna say it like that because before the pandemic, the economy was great. But inflation was on the rise. No, it wasn't. It was at 1.4. And if it was on the rise, it was because of the pandemic. Nothing Biden would have done would have changed the outcome of the pandemic. I hate to say it. The only thing I would have said it would have been different, they wouldn't have attacked him as hard as they did Donald Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say Biden don't take no blame. Biden don't take blame for anything. But when he wants to take credit like he did at the State of the Union, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this. Look, I'm going to use another prime example. Before we go on to our next story, then we're going to be done for the day. Biden took credit for low gas prices. Gas prices have been going down. Look what I did. I put gas prices down. But remember when gas prices was on the rise? The president does not influence how the price of gas is. Really? So he can influence it when it goes down, but not when it goes up? And now that gas prices are going up as well, and big bad oil companies. Ladies and gentlemen, he takes credit. He don't take blame. I would respect him more if he would. If he said, look, I messed up. Now, but see, that would mean that they would have to change their agenda. All right, one last story. Ohio Governor Stitt, that's a good name, Stitt, S-T-I-T-T, gets standing ovation calling for a bill that bans all gender transit surgeries. Now, according to the bill, if you're, I think you're over 26, you can have one, but if you're under 26, they will be banned. And ladies and gentlemen, this sparked outrage because of the transgender movement that we have going on right now. People are flocking to these transgender surgeries or whatever. And look, these people are confused. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to offend people. That's my God honest opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, after he signed the bill, or he gets this bill going, there was something that happened in Oklahoma, and I don't think it happened since January 6th. Wait, what you mean, Isaac? Well, there were protesters that ran in to the Oklahoma Capitol building and occupied it and protest and screamed, "Trans lives matter, trans lives matter." And they were protesting. Now, you didn't hear this on the national media. I didn't hear this on Fox. I didn't hear this I got this from my good friend Scott Ford. They were running, and they took over the Capitol building in Oklahoma while the Oklahoma lawmakers were trying to make laws. Now, this goes right here. And like I said, this is from Breitbart. They went ahead and they pro-trans demonstrators occupied Oklahoma Capitol to protect bill defending children. From Breitbart. Now, this is why I'm bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, because I say you didn't see this since January 6th. Now, it was rough on January 6th. I can't hide the fact there is videos, there is things where they ran into it, but when they got into the Capitol, besides busted windows and stuff, they were protesting. Now, it did put the life in, that's what I said, it put the life of the vice president and everything in danger, the Speaker of the House. I understand all that. I can understand that argument, all that good stuff. But the thing of it is, ladies and gentlemen, where is the cries for insurrection now? Where are the cries that, why didn't we have breaking news that protesters and insurrectionists went and run into the Oklahoma building to overthrow Oklahoma? You didn't see none of that. All you saw on the mainstream media is that protesters are peacefully making their voices heard in the Capitol building. Now, look, this is a public building. They can walk in. I understand that. But, ladies and gentlemen, don't you see the hypocrisy in this? Don't you see the hypocrisy in this story? You had protesters go into the Capitol building, which was wrong. I don't think that hurt more than anything. I already talked about all this. But ladies and gentlemen, you have a group of people go into the Capitol building in Oklahoma and ransack it and force their way in there and scream, "Trans lives matter." But they're called heroes. They're protesters. But the people on January 6th, and look, what's the sad thing? You didn't even have to go into the Capitol building. They still looked at you. That was wrong. Oh, that was an insurrection. Oh, what's the difference between these two stories? Well, one, at January 6th, most of those were Trump supporters. And they supported Trump's policies. And they believed what Trump was saying. On the other hand, the people in Oklahoma that went ahead and ransacked the Capitol, they were pushing a leftist agenda. So that's why none of the mainstream media, including Fox, to my knowledge, Fox hasn't talked about this. They're looked up as heroes because they're pushing the rights for the LGBTQ community. It's a leftist leaning agenda. So that makes it okay what they did. Just like the riots of 2020. Oh, these are mostly peaceful protests with buildings burning in the back. But see, the Capitol on January 6th, that was a riot. That was an insurrection. And it was wrong that those people tried to influence the government. They wanted to take over the United States. These two incidents are the same. The difference, left-leaning agenda and a right-leaning agenda. And that's why one was condemned by the mainstream media and the other one was looked at as a beautiful protest against a tyrannic government, a governor that wants to take away your rights, take the rights of kids. How dare they? And that's the country we live in, folks. With that being said, that is the last of my stories of the day. I want to thank you for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. It is an honor and a blessing for you always to be with us today. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, hit the share button. That's how we overcome the algorithms so we can start getting views and getting this message of conservatism out. And just remember that Jesus Christ is King, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. Remember, if you want to know Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, reach out to me and tell me, and I will tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.
And he